Calling the meeting to order.
Go for it.
Yeah?
And I don't even have my glasses. Okay. I'd like to raise the motion to call the meeting to order.
Second.
There we go.
I think you can just call it.
Oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
call the meeting to
Yeah.
order then. Awesome. Should we review the minutes or do we want to roll call first? Yeah, we'll roll call first. All right, Tiffany Hunt.
Becky Guzman.
Nathan's.
Elizabeth Elman.
Also, yeah, Ben Kessler also in attendance. Yep.
Perfect.
Part of the peanut gallery over here.
I know. I do need to raise a motion to approve the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes from the October 19th, 2021 meeting.
I'll
Very good.
second.
Excellent. So approved. Perfect. Let's fly through this, aren't we? Now,
Wait, we have a
yes,
special guest.
Yes, I'm here.
Consider that.
Has an agenda item for us to discuss today. Mayor Kessler. You have
Thank
the
you.
floor.
And thank you. Thank you, Chairwoman Hunt. I feel bad for Lee because he sat through a similar conversation this morning.
Don't feel bad.
The Citizens Police Academy alumni. But I just wanted to kind of touch base with you guys, who I don't think I've actually touched base with you, Becky. I talked to you, Tiffany, a little bit earlier today, but the chief is retiring on January 7th, and so I've announced that we're gonna start a community search process pretty soon. I just wanna let you guys kind of know what that looks like, and I wanted to talk a little bit also, just brainstorm CRB involvement to the extent that it's wise or a good idea. I was contemplating having a CRB member as part of the process, kind of formally. But so the process that I'm looking at is identifying a search firm, which I've not identified yet which search firm that will be, to help with the search, to help kind of put together a candidate profile, advertise the position, help with interviews, community engagement, and that sort of stuff. So I'm hoping to identify that search firm and engage the firm by early January. I'm hoping to appoint a steering committee to help, or like an advisory committee to help steer the search process, that's sort of cross-representative of groups throughout the city, probably a manageable size of 10 or under, I would think, for that committee. I'm thinking, for example, a member from the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association, a member from one of the equity groups in Bexley, a member from the school board or the school administration, a kind of representative of the police department. So just kind of a wide range of backgrounds and perspectives. And I did think it would be helpful to have a CRB member, I think, in the process. I'm trying to think through, I mean, I don't think that presents any sort of conflicts of interest down the road or anything. Do you?
I'd love to volunteer for that.
Oh, okay.
I would, yeah.
Becky, what do you think of conflicts? Sorry, I'm just asking.
sure, absolutely.
I'm thinking as well that it's a shade, it's not an outward conflict, it's just an issue of,
Perception or whatever.
yeah, that
So I want
perception
more
of a conflict, but not a direct one, because they wouldn't be saying, oh, I'm saying hire this person necessarily, they're giving feedback and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, if someone wanted to raise it, I think ultimately what it is how comfortable that person on here feels if there is an allegation
Right.
being involved in it.
Sure.
And then they can make that decision at that point if they feel the need to.
Okay.
I think you have a defensible position in that part of the work that we're doing is looking at review processes and causes for complaints. And this may be, sort of prescriptive in terms of qualities that you would be looking for an executive.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, the way I'm gonna do it, and I guess I would, just know if any of you are interested, and it's not what I'm not gonna like ask the board to appoint somebody. I'm gonna take a look at who is out there that's gonna be on this and try to keep a pretty good balance of perspectives and backgrounds on it. questions and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, I guess maybe I should ask you if any of you is not interested in serving somehow in that capacity. And if you say you're not interested, then I'll know. And then I can kind of try to formulate that. And then, you know, for the steering committee itself, please don't feel at all offended if, like, you know, one of you is doing one thing or not the other. But what I'd like to do is kind of keep you guys up to date with what's going on regardless, and apprised of that. So the search, what I'm talking about with that advisory committee, it'll be an advisory role, kind of a sounding board as we go through the process. There will be a smaller interview committee that's a little bit more made up of, you know, the council president, myself, some others, where it's more elected decision makers, people who are, we're going to bring in a chief from another agency or retired chief perhaps. So, and then there will be some community forums and that sort of thing. So I have not firmed it all up. I'm anticipating a 3-month timeline-ish. So roughly looking for a March, end of March, kind of April-ish decision point. And I'm excited. I was just speaking with some officers this afternoon, and you know, there's I guess what I should say, the gravity of that choice is it's a big one. It's a big choice that we're making through this.
Fear of the unknown, is that what you're?
No, I'm just saying that, like, everyone I've spoken with, it's just, you know, it's a big choice. It's one that's going to impact the quality of life for our residents and our police officers and myself. So all of those things.
Yeah.
So are you planning on having Elizabeth staff the position too?
Staff?
The committee, the search committee?
Oh, I have not, no, I haven't thought about that yet. Are you volunteering her?
Well, I'm not volunteering, I'm just asking. I think the committee's gonna need some staff support in terms of organization and all of that, so. And I think Elizabeth has done an exceptional job for the CRP.
Thank you. Thank you.
If she's not too busy on the dog waste issue.
Right.
You know.
Is there a
You
dog
know,
waste issue?
No, I think he's making light of sustainability.
I'm not making light of it. I've been trying to find documentation because there was an article about the problem that Washington DC is experiencing with,
Oh, okay.
Dog waste?
yeah.
What's the problem?
Well, people placing dog waste in recycling bins or trash cans, and the people who have that dog waste placed in there are very upsetting, and what to do about it. And
You're
Or meaning
referring,
other than their own.
you're
putting
referring,
it other
other
people's
than,
trash.
other than their own, right,
Okay.
this is, yeah, as I'm visualizing, the trash can was at the curb, somebody walks by, or. it's-
Elizabeth's actually solved that problem. Did you know that?
What's the solution?
he's gotta be joking.
I'm not.
We have stickers.
Yeah, we're
So-
about to roll them out.
Yeah, so like if you're,
Please don't put your poop in this.
No.
no,
the opposite.
it's the opposite. It's,
You're
we're
welcome.
welcoming. You're welcome. Yes, you can use my
Oh,
can.
what a
Yes,
positive
you can
spin
use
on
my
that.
can.
Oh my gosh, I
Put
love
your
that.
poop in my can. You got no problem. It's a trash can. Come on.
But I
I'm not
actually
gonna eat
like
out of
that because you do kind of just have to carry it however long your walk is, but I always feel like I would never do that because I'm
Would
like,
never.
'Cause you don't
I would
know.
never,
'Cause
never
I
do
would
that.
never do
Or
that.
even the waste cans that are like on the corners, like on Cat's
Well, if
Can
it
or
was
something.
public,
No,
I'd probably do
I'm
it,
not
but
doing
I
You
it.
wouldn't use a public trash
I
can?
would
I would
not
use
use a
public.
public
I
trash.
encourage
You
you
would
to.
not?
They're designed
That's
for
what
that.
they're there for.
I would use a private, but I would use public.
I would use anything as long as
just-
no one's
I'm
watching.
gonna
But you
carry
never
it.
know, someone's always watching.
So,
And
I
if they're not watching their ring,
I
their ring,
know.
I have
they're-
asked and been told no.
then
and
you
then
end
I
up
use
on the
public
bus.
one.
Yeah, you don't want to end up on the bus. I feel like we've gone a little further afield.
We have gone.
Elizabeth is amazing. She may or may not be the person to staff this effort, but if she were, she would be fantastic. And if she weren't, it's only because she's doing something else amazing. So this is all good. So basically, that's any questions or thoughts?
I think that you've got at least 2 people here who are on both the Citizens Academy alumni and in this group. You've got plenty of people to pick from. I'm sure whatever you decide is gonna be wonderful.
And just,
I have a question.
just to put it in context so you understand, Ben is the appointing authority. So everything gets focused to him by the city charter. So,
No pressure.
no, well, I mean, that's what you,
And then council confirms.
What do you see as the mandate, I guess, that you have to fulfill, I guess, in fulfilling this position beyond, duties as assigned?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and anything I'm saying here is not a reflection on our current chief. It's
Of
just
course.
like, what,
Yeah.
looking forward, what is what is kind of my vision?
Yeah.
Would be that, first and foremost is community safety and the fact that our police department is very important to our community, and having a strong department is important. But I think as well, to that is just having a chief who's focused on community policing efforts, on strategic planning, and kind of lining out a vision and then working consistently at achieving that vision. Somebody who is excellent communicator, both to the community as well as to the agency itself, to kind of build rapport with officers. Most likely it's an outside candidate just based upon a lot of factors, but I think it's most likely going to be an outside candidate. So good communicator, strategic, problem solving, open-minded, and creative. I think are things that you don't necessarily think of with policing, but I think that there are, when you see kind of chiefs at their best, those are attributes that they have within obviously the confines of, common sense and doing things appropriately. So those are the sort of things that rise to my mind.
Do you have or is there a pulse, I guess, that you feel from the existing police force in terms of, what things they're sharing in terms of what they'd like to see in the next candidate, person in that position?
I don't know. I don't even think I could characterize that. I mean, for one thing, it's difficult to. Police departments are fairly regimented and hierarchical, so it's difficult to get unfiltered, candid conversations.
Interesting.
And so I'd actually tell you that to the extent that I've had those, I'm not even comfortable sharing them, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
But they will. I got to figure out a better way to say this, but
No, that
the
sounds
comments
like-
I've received are ones that I value, and I think I'm going to try to find a way to make sure that there are officers more formally involved in the process as well.
That's great, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Not to
All
be
right.
sorry, that's very like.
No, that
Mysterious.
answers the question, yeah. That's what I wanted to know, how, 'cause-
well, you're exactly right. It's a balancing act because the desire to improve, enhance community safety, have communication with all elements of the community really should not be mutually exclusive with having strong morale in the police
Oh,
department.
absolutely.
So
That's
that's the
actually how
kind
you
of
achieve those
balance
things,
that you're in
Right.
right now, trying to achieve them.
I think it's very achievable.
Yeah.
So
Good.
it's it'll be an interesting process.
Mhm.
It'll be
And
full of
as
lively
just-
conversation.
So you'll know, I also suggested to the mayor that members of the committee do a ride-along.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
I love it.
Okay, good, thank
So
you.
that's really all I have.
Okay.
Thank you. And I don't, I think you guys are okay if I continue along my way. Yeah?
Yeah,
All right.
Thank you for
Sounds
joining.
good. Thank you so much. I also, as you can tell, I have not yet appointed a replacement for Brian, so that is still a vacant seat. There are still individuals that I need to interview and sit down with. It's been a while, but I keep on getting names, and so I want to make sure I'm considering everybody who has some interest. And I'm looking to get that ball rolling in January as well for that appointment. We have a couple different vacancies throughout different commissions, so it's kind of nice to bundle them. So that's what we'll do.
Sounds
All right,
good.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
Happy-
Enjoy the rest of your week. Don't work too
Merry
hard.
Christmas.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Mayor.
Thank you.
All right, so in our next item,
Okay, cool.
and I do not have my glasses.
Meeting cadence.
Meeting cadence, right. So we touched on this in the last meeting. I think we had already decided this last year that we were gonna go every other month.
60 days, right?
But I don't know that the agenda really warrants that. You know, I would make a motion to maybe move this to quarterly. We can always switch it, right, and meet more often should, you know, the demand for our services increase. So I'd like to make a motion to move to a
Second.
quarterly cadence. Perfect.
Sorry.
Okay, good. So then that will start,
Next
3 months.
meeting would be March,
perfect,
the third Thursday in March.
perfect, thank you.
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
No,
right?
third,
March the 15th, Tuesday.
was that Tuesday?
Or is it March 15th?
Good.
Right, so then CRB examples.
Okay. And, oh, perfect. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot my glasses. Let me just move my chair for this. It's reading for me the entire meeting. Okay,
And obviously, if there was a basis for having more frequently.
Yeah, we would
if
get
there was
back
a
together.
complaint that the mayor brought to us. then
Absolutely.
we would,
yep, that goes without saying. Okay, perfect. CRB model examples, and I believe there was something you were gonna share with us. Did I see
well,
an email from you?
I think Len sent all of those attachments,
Yes.
the links to those.
Want to open them?
I
Yeah.
looked them over, but I haven't really studied them. Some of them were 84 pages. One of them, that one, I think, was 84 pages.
Stuff here.
What's the conclusion? If we scroll up to the conclusion. Yes, I think that's been well established. I think that's why we exist. So this is this more, yeah. I think that, you know, what we were discussing was more conversations around process versus burning platform, you know what I mean, type stuff.
Right, because this isn't really a citizen advisory board
Yeah,
in terms of policy setting.
right, right.
So there's this.
That's 84, right? One of them.
One.
Yeah, I wonder if, you know, when we first kind
So I
of,
think this was really good.
Oh.
The flow chart.
yeah. Now, I like this, I don't, I think and it could be in the fine print here, in terms of the timeline. So the time between when a complaint is filed and a complaint is investigated, what's the time frame that a complaint can be investigated, or in what time frame should a disciplinary hearing be held? Are those things already established?
My sense is that the process that, as I understand it, is that the complaint is filed, the complaint concierge helps the complainant with the proper filing. It goes to the appropriate city department
Yep,
for investigation, which is not where we're involved.
right,
We would, the department would then produce a report to the mayor. The mayor would review it with the complainant.
yeah,
If the complainant felt that was
Yeah.
not satisfactory,
an
then
appeal,
he would ask us to become
Yeah.
involved at that point.
correct. But is this, what I was trying to get at, is this process here, does this already exist?
Well, this is more of a police complaint process in
Well, I
Charlotte.
understand.
Is that what you mean?
No, so I understand that there's portions of this that happen before it would even rise to the I guess, governance of this committee, but my question is, does this already exist? And the only reason I ask is because, could you have appeals, and I think we've talked about this probably more than once, but could you have appeals for items for complaints that have historically been filed maybe a couple years back? I just, like, how robust does this process look for, that's in existence now?
So technically, there can be an appeal done. Do you know if, it's available online yet?
I do not know.
Oh, really?
If what's online?
Let me check.
We were supposed to, at the last meeting, we talked about that, if it's available online.
Citizen
Citizen complaint
process.
process, I just saw it where you were, there you go. Fourth down,
Yeah.
citizen complaint form.
Oh.
And then an appeal of that decision. There you go.
That's the
That's
original
the actual
form.
complaint form.
Okay, so.
Appeal
Appeals,
results
there
of
we
your
go.
complaint.
um, I don't see it.
Okay, so that's probably the only thing that still needs to be done, is to make it user-friendly for the appeal of the decision.
Would there be, what happens, when you click Citizens Review Advisory Board, is it kind of more the same? And
Yeah.
oh, it doesn't even, oh, okay. Oh. Is there a link to the appeal process? No. Okay,
So we still need that to happen.
yeah, that's good.
And then there's not really like, as far as a time frame, there's no parameters on the time frame,
Yeah,
which we've discussed.
Yeah.
And I know we tabled that kind of, well, I encouraged us to table it
Sure.
until we had the city attorney involved,
yes,
because I know he and I don't agree on it.
okay, okay.
Well, what is his position?
He wants a limit, I do not.
No, his position is no limit.
He wants a limit,
Oh,
yes, and I do not.
So maybe we can have that as an agenda item at a subsequent meeting, and we can
But
invite
as
him.
long as we
Yeah,
have
and
him.
invite him to attend, yeah.
Yes,
Okay, good.
so just, it's unlimited, so it could be a 2-year look back?
correct, there's no limit. Right now, there's no limit,
Right now, there's no limit,
there's no limit,
okay. And he wants to limit it,
yes.
okay. But you-
Time limits. He wants time limits, right? Yeah, okay.
Like a statute of limitations?
Yeah.
That's what he's advocating for. Yes.
So maybe we'll have that as an
But it's
agenda
a-
item in our
if
January
it's-
meeting
if
and
it's-
invite him to
statute of
attend.
limitations applies to criminal acts, right?
Statute of limitations applies to anything that is codified. I mean, there could,
So, but
if it's created,
if there's a citizen complaint, that there would be, necessarily have to have a statute of
Sign that.
limitations?
Oh.
based on
no,
that?
there's no statute of limitations.
Okay,
There is none.
okay.
I'm advocating to continue that way. He has brought it up, the city attorney has brought it up to put a type of statute of limitations on it, yes.
At
And you
what
know,
time?
It looks like you're the official
No, that's why
form
we're
on the
gonna
file and
add it
appeal.
to the
We can
meeting,
drag that to the
because
January,
I have
because it looks like we're
disagreed with
still.
it every time he brings it up.
So we don't have any practical application where it's caused
Thank
any hardship on anybody?
No, which is why I say, why even do it? All it's gonna do is just affect the evidence, and that affects the burden that someone needs to meet anyways, so I think it speaks for itself, that there's an age of the situation. But that's why I'm opposed to it. Okay,
Okay, so we'll put that on the January agenda and we'll invite him back to participate in that discussion.
yeah.
And then the process,
Well, it's gonna be in March, right? We're gonna.
I'm sorry,
to the
March, correct,
15th.
yep.
Okay.
An appeal is filed with the citizens and the CRB holds a meeting to determine if the hearing should be held. At the hearing, the CRB issues recommendations. Okay, good. Now, I wonder if there's just the process internally that the CRB follows. If that, I actually really like this as a base. I think that we could probably add to it. You know, this to me is kind of more external facing. But what is the process that we follow to actually investigate a complaint? And then I think there's other things that have come up, like would we bring people in and interview, you know, just all of that kind of thing. I think maybe populating some, you know, doing a double click on some of the boxes to include some of the internal process. And then, you know, but I like this. What do you guys think?
It's a nice organized.
Yeah, it's a nice
flow chart.
I think
organized-
having it
Another
in the flow
visual.
chart
Yeah.
makes it, anything that uses infographics
Yeah,
is always helpful.
Yeah,
for
this is
sure.
good. And the only thing I would think is on the 5, 6, and 7, adding some type of time frame. You know, once someone has notified that they, would request an appeal, when would they expect to get confirmation of that, and,
And that's the only thing that we haven't established.
yeah, we haven't established
And-
that yet.
And this was obviously for city employee complaints, it's not just limited
Sure.
to the
Yep.
police department.
Okay, all right, so is this something that, and I know it's just a small meeting today, so is this something that, is this something that we would publish?
I think it's a user-friendly thing.
I do too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It certainly could be posted on the website, it could
Yeah.
be added to that, the links that are on
I
there
agree.
as a separate item.
Yeah, so maybe we can talk about, so the form that's still outstanding with respect to the appeal, maybe something like this could be paired with that? Maybe we run that past the mayor?
Yeah.
I like that, yeah, and then a little internal process stuff. Okay, good. Well, thank Glenn for his contribution, okay.
Yeah.
What's next?
Those are just the examples.
And
Yeah.
then, new business. Do we have any new business?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right, I don't think
I
so
mean,
either.
we haven't been informed that there's any appeals, so,
Right,
yeah. He's working
Well, I
on
haven't
finding.
been, I don't think we've been informed there've been any complaints at all.
the minutes say that, I thought the minutes said that there was, Kessler shared that there have been few formal complaints. So maybe there's some, but not many. He's finalizing an official form on which to file an appeal.
That's what we had discussed at the last meeting, that.
Right. So it sounds like there might have been some complaints, although maybe not many, and didn't rise to the level of an appeal.
And I think that the concern is making sure it's user-friendly, that it's available online.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that I think still needs to be done.
Good. Okay.
And I think there'd be a new complaint concierge appointed since Sam is now.
Oh,
the
yes, that's true.
City council.
So,
Yeah.
that would be another, yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So is that something that we need to add to our agenda, or is that something, will we
I
even
think,
get
I think
involved
that's gonna be up to the mayor.
happening
and-
outside of this forum?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The other thing is too, with, I have an item that I wanted to discuss in terms of business, with the COVID numbers rising. Do we wanna continue, and we're not meeting again until March, my hope is that things will calm down by then, so maybe we'll, skip the spike. But should things be riding high, do we need to set any established protocols for our meetings ahead of time?
Yeah, do you know why it is, or does anybody know why it is that we have to be in person now? Before, we were able to do it online.
It's a state
It's a state thing?
thing,
So
yeah,
we don't have control over that?
correct.
Oh,
So they were in a state of emergency type, and
Yeah,
that
whatever
was
it
what was
was.
driving it?
Yeah,
So
so,
then that would dictate in March
And
if
then
we're
Right.
under
the
that.
governor lifted that, and I
Okay,
think it was in May,
yeah, probably. So like city
Okay.
council had to come, I mean, everyone has to
has
come
to
back.
be in person.
okay.
now, we're required to have 4 people in person, correct?
No, you just need a quorum,
So we currently have,
and you have 4 board members. So I think 3 is a quorum.
oh, we only have 4,
Because we haven't gotten,
We lost
Brian
Brian
replaced.
Jury's replacement. He
Oh.
resigned in August.
oh yeah, I know that. My point is, for some reason I thought we had more than 5. Yeah, it's small, okay, okay. Good, okay, so I guess then that will depend on what's going on in the state. Okay, good. All right,
And I think just the other part of it is that our
the board is now ensconced in the city charter. That was one of the charter amendments that was passed.
Oh, it was officially.
Yes.
Okay,
Wonderful.
any other new business? All right, well, I
We've
will-
addressed every
We've addressed
concern we had.
everything that we can at this time, right? Okay, well, I'll raise a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second it.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank
Have a happy
you.
holiday.
Have a nice
Thank you.
holiday. Thank you,
Thank you.
Elizabeth.
Bye.
Recording stopped.
Ooh.